All right, big day, big day's here. KIPPtastic. Kip. Welcome to KIPPtastic. Is anyone gonna think this is about clip-on? Nah, they can't tell it's a clip-on. Kick your teeth. You got this. All right, here we go. Not nervous? No, never nervous. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's do this. Welcome everyone to oh boy, what to do. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Can we still do this? We can? Really? Really? Let's do it. I'm in.
Welcome to KIPPtastic.
We're so thankful you could join us.
We've got an amazing evening planned for you.
Now sit back.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
I have a message, and I want this message to be delivered.
To my teachers.
Let's be real for a second.
No metaphors, no pretty words.
Now more than ever, we are at risk. If you were to look through my eyes, you'd see I worry daily about my peers, my family. You'd see how I put on a strong face even while I was suffering inside.
I am a little scared when going outside. I feel like I have a target on me, or other people sees me as like danger.
I don't want to be racially profiled, and I don't want to be told I can't be who I am and I can't love who I want to love.
One thing you wouldn't see is me alone.
I like KIPP simply for the fact that I'm identified as Randy. I am my own person. I'm not a number. I'm not a statistic. Being told, like, I care about you. I love you. I love you. That statement alone, like, it goes a long way. It really does.
More than ever, we need to push our students to love who they are.
More than ever, I need to have confidence in my abilities.
More than ever, we need a community, a strong one.
We need a lot of communication and just bonding between students and teachers.
More than ever, we need our teachers to acknowledge their privilege.
Listen to the students' voices.
Every interaction matters.
Let them know that they're in charge of their own lives and their own destinies going forward.
I'm proud of the place that I came from.
De donde yo vengo, ha creado quien soy.
More than ever, I want to be able to empower myself and help empower the community around me.
We don't know what the future is. We don't know what the future holds. We need more leaders. We're gonna need more people that are willing to put in the work to make this world a better place.
This is so surreal. Oh my God, we're going to college, yo. Oh.
I was just so happy that I got accepted to almost all the colleges I applied to, so I was just like, yes. Man, we made it. Finally, we did it. We graduated. We're about to go off to college. I was just so happy.
My name is Sanya Bandu, and I'm going to Champlain College, and I never would have thought I was even going to go to college.
What was even more important for me and what was even more special for me than even walking across that stage was hearing my mom scream when I heard my name.
So for me, waking up every morning, I told myself that I belong here. And every day that I'm on this campus, I'm gonna fight. And it is my destiny. So I'm gonna graduate Cornell next year, which I'm very proud of.
When I'm in doubt, I remember the teachers that reached out to me in times where things didn't look so hot. I remember those who sat here and pulled me to the side and told me, you're gonna be okay.
Wherever I go, I will keep that mindset that I can do whatever I want because I believe in myself and I have people who believe in me. To be honest, that's all you really need.
And then I'm gonna come back to Academy where it all started, and I'm gonna continue the legacy. I wanna impact children. I wanna impact the life of maybe just one person. They all impacted my life like that. So if I can sit here and do that for somebody else, change will go on for generations to come. Not even years, generations.
Good evening, friends. My name is Crystal Baptiste, and I'm the founding principal of KIPP Legacy Primary School. Thank you so much to every single person joining us tonight. We're grateful to share this time with you and excited to celebrate our mission together. I joined KIPP this past year after 3 years at Democracy Prep in Las Vegas. I came to Minnesota because I saw an opportunity and a need. I believe that all kids deserve an equitable education and their zip code should not define their destiny. I'm excited to lead KIPP Legacy Primary School next year so our students can see the values we bring and they bring to our school with joy, love, resilience, excellence, and leadership. It has been quite a year at KIPP, Minnesota. This year celebrates the year that our North Star campus is a full K-8 school. After years of hard work, we finally have the 4th grade classroom that will transition directly into 5th grade next year at North Star Academy. If that wasn't exciting enough, we welcome a brand new 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students to the newly launched KIPP Legacy Academy. An incredible team of founding leaders and educators have brought KIPP's mission to life right in the heart of North Minneapolis on Broadway. For those who have been around KIPP for a while, you know that we are more than a school, so much more. This year, we are proud to share that we added a robust career advising service to our KIPP Through College program. KIPP Through College and Career is now able to support students through some of the most challenging transition phases of their education and providing an opportunity to over 300 alumni. There are so many things to celebrate, so many, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of KIPP Minnesota's team. We know that this is hard work, but it is good work. There are many great challenges, but we know that we are champions, we are greater, and we are better together. There are many obstacles, huge ones, but we know our opportunities are bigger. In a time when so many are tempted to retreat, we are leaning in with resilience. Thank you for joining us here at KIPPtastic. We're so excited to share this time with you. We're so excited to share our mission with you on and upward because we are so much better together and we will continue to prove the possible because our kids in North Minneapolis deserve the best. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Katie Hayes Antello, and I am the head of schools at the KIPP North Star campus. I work at KIPP Minnesota because the children and families of North Minneapolis are truly incredible and deserve excellent schools that honor them, support them, and empower them to succeed. We have all heard the phrase, "It takes a village." Our KIPP village proves that true. When we reflect on what we have accomplished and what lies ahead, we know the value of partnership. Our partners make so much of KIPP's work possible. Partnerships, like any good relationship, have their challenges. But by committing to partnerships, more often than not, our challenges are followed by celebration. Tonight, we have the opportunity to celebrate our most committed partners with the KIPP Educational Champions Award. We give these awards to individuals and groups that promote educational equity in Minneapolis through their inspired, innovative, and bold efforts. These champions are the tireless workers who fight each day to increase awareness around the needs of all children so that all children might have choice-filled futures. Join all of us in the KIPP Village as we celebrate the work of these remarkable champions.
Please welcome Sandra Samuels.
Hi, my name is Sandra Samuels. I am President and CEO of the Northside Achievement Zone, and I have the distinct pleasure of saying just a few words about Al Fan, my colleague, co-conspirator, and my friend. I met Al about 15 years ago when he was heading up Charter School Partners, and I remember many of us were so excited that this former engineer, graduate from the University of California, 16-year General Mills veteran, was bringing his wicked brilliance and all of his passion to our space. And that space in this state where we are trying to bring equity, we're trying to love up on low-income brown and black kids who are being failed by our educational system. And Al knew it, and he leaned into it. And leading, Charter School Partners is just one organization that he built. He built organizations and he started charter schools and he upped their game and the standards, and he worked with district and charters and parochial, all kind of different schools, and he built coalitions both at Charter School Partners and at Minnesota Comeback and Great Minnesota Schools. He lobbied at the legislature. He built these great organizations, raised incredible funds. But most importantly, in all of these years, what I've seen is this tenacious, focused man who has the biggest heart and so much talent. And he brought it all to bear so that we could make things better for our children whose only guilt is that they were born with color in their skin and low income. And so, Al, I gotta tell you, you've done an amazing, I could read your resume. You've done some amazing things, but the most amazing thing that you've done is you've been a role model for so many of us who are fighting for our children. And you love them, you love us, you love this city, this state, this community, and it is so clear. And Al, I just want to thank you for everything. And in closing, I want to say what a famous doctor has said: unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. Dr. Seuss. And Al, thank you. I love you.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for those kind words. And greetings, everyone, from California. It's a real honor to be receiving this recognition from KIPP, and especially meaningful for me because I can honestly say that my involvement with KIPP is what got me interested in taking on the work of fighting educational inequities in the first place. As the founding board chair for the first KIPP school to open in Minnesota, I began my journey to understand how deep both racial and economic inequities existed in our education system. I was shocked to learn how large a gap existed between outcomes for white students and those for students of color in the Twin Cities. But I was equally hopeful that successful school models like KIPP could close this gap. Seeing the thousands of kids whose lives were changed by KIPP schools all over the country, I was inspired and launched my first education nonprofit to support other schools focused on the same mission. As I reflect on the past 10 years, it's clear that one of the most important lessons I've learned is the value of partnerships in this work. The African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go farther, go together, couldn't be more true. This work is hard and frustrating and lonely and sometimes painful when you are personally attacked on social media. But I always knew I had many friends and allies by my side. We always believed in working collaboratively with our partner schools, trying to understand their needs, and working closely together to identify resources and develop solutions that work. I am especially proud of the work we did at Minnesota Comeback to help KIPP and other schools by bringing the support and resources of so many national partners to Minneapolis. Partners like 10 Square, TNTP, ANET, EdFuel, Bloomwell, and others have not only brought national best-in-class practices to our schools, but have also strengthened the education ecosystem necessary to provide the ongoing support to our school leaders and teachers. Over the years, I have come to truly admire the educators I worked with. It is inspiring to see the passion, commitment, and persistence these educators bring to the classroom every day. But I also know that these educators can't do it alone and need the support from partners who share their common goal of helping children, all children, develop the skills and knowledge to thrive in our community. I want to thank KIPP again for recognizing me with this Educational Champions Award, and I humbly accept it on behalf of all the people I've had the privilege to work with on my journey. I know there is much more work still to be done, and I am grateful for the leaders who have the courage and tenacity to continue this fight for equity. I am grateful for the leaders and educators at KIPP Minnesota who work tirelessly to give children the quality of education they deserve. And I am also deeply grateful to the friends and colleagues at this event who continue to selflessly support KIPP and other schools like it with the hope of making our community a better and more just society. Thank you.
Please welcome Tyler.
Hi, team and family. It is an incredible privilege to present our next Educational Champion recipient, Catherine Campbell of Groves Academy. The best and highest praise that I can give Catherine is that she is a true advocate of education equity. But rather than use my own words, I'm going to use the words in this letter of commendation written from a dear friend and supporter of Catherine's work. Dear Catherine, it is with great enthusiasm and admiration that I commend your work bringing the Groves Literacy Framework to schools throughout Minneapolis and St. Paul. Schools that have followed this program have seen student reading scores improve measurably. This is a testimony to your diligence and careful training of both coaches and teachers in the 30 schools where the program takes place. Your excellent and frequent follow-up is the final piece that guarantees the success. Your fine leadership skills have been evident from the birth of the program to and through its implementation. As a result, the last 5 years, you and your team have had an incredible impact on children across Minneapolis and St. Paul. As the world knows, reading is the irreplaceable skill that is the foundation of all careers and the basis of being a good participating citizen. What wonderful work you do. We're so lucky to have your reading leadership. Congratulations, and keep up the good work with many years of admiration and affection. With that, Catherine, thank you so much and congratulations.
I'm honored to be recognized as a champion of education by KIPP Minnesota. There are so many people that are a part of this recognition, from the teachers and leaders at KIPP to the philanthropic organizations that support this work, and to the Groves coaches, specifically Heidi Alford and Cheryl Alexander, who work with KIPP teachers to ensure that all K through 3 students are learning to read. We're facing a literacy crisis in our nation and great state. We know that children who do not read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to leave school without a diploma. Reading is a foundational skill. All of the expertise that we've developed over the last almost 50 years at Groves Academy is based on the science of reading. We take that same expertise in literacy instruction out to all learners in classrooms throughout the city through literacy partnerships with schools. Our partnership with KIPP over the last 2 years has shown that by working together, we can make a difference in the reading outcomes of these students using the Groves Literacy Framework. At KIPP, through our partnership, a curriculum that provides explicit and systematic instruction in reading and spelling is used in all kindergarten through 3rd grade classrooms. Students are assessed on their oral reading fluency throughout the year. Then the results of the fluency assessments are used to determine which students need additional intervention, what type, and how often. In addition, each KIPP teacher works with a Groves coach 30 minutes a week in their classroom, as well as attends professional development meetings on literacy topics on a monthly basis presented by their Groves coach. Our reading fluency data this year, from just September to January, showed us that 1st grade had a 22% drop in the number of students in the high-risk category. Nationally, 1st grade students that struggle have an average expected growth in fluency between 33 and 50% from fall to winter. KIPP's 1st grade students demonstrated average growth between 60 and 70% from fall to winter testing dates. We're excited to be adding KIPP Legacy Primary to our list of partner schools for next year. Being a strong reader unlocks so much potential in students. Research tells us that if good literacy instruction is taught in all primary grade classrooms, only 10% of students might struggle. Groves's vision is to change the way our nation is taught, one student, one teacher, one school at a time. We want to provide good literacy instruction to all learners, no matter what their zip code. It's our civic duty to close this Minnesota literacy achievement gap so that all Minnesota children are productive members of our future workforce, working at their full potential. Thank you.
Well, good evening, KIPP team and family. My name is Tyler Van Epps, and I'm the Director of Development here at KIPP Minnesota. I came to KIPP because I believe in building bridges and using voice to help shape the future. Our next award is just about that. It's the KIPP Ambassador Award. And this award and this honor is presented to an individual or a group that uses voice, uses influence, and uses position to help accelerate young people towards choice-filled futures. These individuals are absolutely relentless when it comes to their pursuit of expanding opportunities and creating agency so that all children are afforded the opportunity to chase their dreams. We are so excited to celebrate the incredible efforts of this year's ambassador.
Please welcome John Butcher.
Good evening, friends. I'm John Butcher, CEO of Caribou Coffee. It's truly a pleasure to join this incredible community of educators, families, and philanthropists to honor a very special and a very unique individual. In a time when it's so easy to retreat and distance ourselves from the world because that's what we're all being told to do, events like this are an opportunity to lean into our humanity and embrace generosity. Most of us know that KIPP supports a community in North Minneapolis that has experienced its share of challenges. We also know it's a strong, proud, and a very powerful community. I think that's what our next award recipient, Stephen Weatherly, saw in KIPP. So I first met Stephen this past summer when he visited Caribou as part of the Vikings player internship program, and I immediately developed a great admiration for his heart and his ambition to help other people. Our day together started by throwing him into the fire. We trained him in as a barista in one of our busiest coffee shops. He took orders, he typed them into our point of sale system, he made lattes, and he just had a lot of fun with people. Stephen jumped in with amazing grace. He didn't take himself too seriously. He was just focused on serving other people. And I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, he made a better mocha than I think I ever have. Then I saw this hyper-competitive side of Stephen firsthand. We left the store, we came to our support center to educate him on every aspect of the Caribou business, from supply chain to product development and even roasting our beans. And he happened to join us on the day that we were launching our special Skull blend of coffee. And when we launch something new, we occasionally pull our entire support center team together and we celebrate the launch and we educate everybody on this new product. So Stephen had just tasted the Skull blend in our cupping lab, which is where we perfect our coffee. And he learned all of the descriptors, the origins of the coffee beans and the tasting notes. And I asked Stephen, I said, so do you want to join us for this town hall meeting? We call it a stairway stand-up. And I pretty much just invited him to stand next to me and look pretty. But no, Stephen said, how about if I describe the new coffee to the team? So he proceeded to educate the entire company on a product that he had just learned about with amazing specificity and accuracy. It was a day to remember for so many of our team members. They still talk about it. And yes, I think they're still going to love him, even though he's leaving the Vikings, except when he's playing us. So what I've come to witness is that Stephen is a man that's way bigger than football. I believe his off-field footprint is going to supersede his incredible on-field achievements. It's an extreme pleasure to present Stephen Weatherly with the 2020 KIPP Ambassador Award. We're excited to celebrate his passion, his heart, his creativity. I can tell you firsthand that the world needs more Stephen Weatherlys in it. Stephen, congrats. Thank you.
There's a couple of really cool things happening at the campus. Number one, we're in the middle of Black History Month. At the same time, we're celebrating reading. Literacy efforts are so important to any education that we're doing in North Minneapolis. So we've got Stephen Weatherly from the Minnesota Vikings. We've got Delta volunteers in today. It's really been an awesome program to launch this year, to actually put some incentives behind it and reward and recognize and really celebrate students when they have successes has been such a huge thing for this year.
A while back, I thought it'd be a good idea as another way of giving back besides just like football kids camp to start a reading program. So that's something I struggled with. I know the importance of reading, but I can't come into a young place and with a bunch of young people, K through 4th grade like here, and say, hey, you need to read more, it's important for you. They don't understand it, and like I don't want to force that on them to understand the importance of reading because they're still kids. So how do you do that? Incentive-based reading program. Offer them toys, if you read more, and to them, they just want the new action figure or the new this or that. Little do they know, they're helping out their reading. I just want this program to keep growing and growing and growing because they are the next generation.
Reading's important to me because it gives you, the ability to expand your knowledge, to expand your awareness of what is. There's so much that Delta represents that us being here and everybody sees Delta, they get excited, and teaching them how to read and teaching them to want to read, I think sparks a whole new hope for the community. I would love to do more of this.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to engage with the community and support Dr. Seuss's birthday.
So we're really excited to be here. It's really important to get kids involved early in reading more, because then they'll have the opportunities to learn and pick up books at any point in time and see the joy in reading. I think it's really important for Delta to be here, especially in the Minneapolis area, engaging with the children in the community, and schools like this. It really does show to the power that Delta and the Delta employees have in engaging with the community and really bringing great energy to the area of Minneapolis.
It means a ton to have the support of community partners here at our school. Reading is equity for our kids and provides the academic foundation they need to be successful in life and to live choice-filled and autonomous lives. So we're really, really grateful for the partnership, and just grateful anytime someone wants to come in and invest and partner with our school and our community, and most importantly, pour into our kids. So we're profoundly grateful for today.
What's up, Kip? Glad to be here tonight. Thank you, John, for those kind words of encouragement, and thank you for allowing me to tag along with the team this past summer. And to the KIPP team, thank you for the award and the recognition. It was great being able to partner with you guys to bring this amazing program to so many kids. For those of you out there who don't know me, my name is Steven. I'm born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Ended up going to Vanderbilt University, where I studied sociology and corporate strategy. And then I just finished my 4th year in Minnesota with the Vikings, and now I play for the Carolina Panthers. But in regards to how reading works into my life, actually plays a big role. Schoolwork was always preached in my house, and I was always good at math and science and social studies, but I always struggled at reading. I was never a strong reader, and I also had a little bit of a speech impediment growing up as well. And so in school, I never threw myself in the mix to read out loud, and that kind of got me behind. And because I was behind, I didn't really care about reading and stuff like that, so I felt more and more behind, and at one point I was 2 to 3 grade levels behind. And then one summer in middle school, my mom allowed me to subscribe to Wired magazine, which is all about engineering and math and science, and me reading month in and month out slowly brought my reading comprehension skills up to be on par with my classmates, and eventually I surpassed my grade level. And so it was because I found that thing I was interested in, it propelled me to academic success, and that's what's important, getting your literacy levels up. And so that's why I thought this program was super important, and I'm really happy where it is now. And when I see these kids at KIPP, the only thing I see are a bunch of kids that are just hungry for another opportunity, and I think that's what New Wave really brings, an ability for them just to have fun and do the thing that's going to impact their lives for years to come on down the line. Because it's hard to stress to a kid the importance of literacy, and you don't want to really burden them with that. And so you can make an incentive-based reading program. They just get to read for their favorite toy, and in 10 years, I think you'll see some cool outcomes. I just want to thank my partners, Delta, Cargill, No Name Meats, and Old National Bank. Thank you so much for your support this year, and hopefully some other partners can tag along and try to expand the program for next year. Thank you, and God bless.
If you haven't been inside a KIPP school before, it can be a little bit tough to describe just the environment and the culture that you walk into every single day. With this next award, we want to try and capture that just a little bit. So our KIPP Values Leadership Award is being presented to 4 educators who day by day consistently and exceedingly display KIPP's values of love, joy, and resilience. We're so excited to be honoring Angela Brooks, Shamika Neal, Julie Bender, and Sarah Peterson for the work that they've done this year. We're excited to hear a little bit from them and from some of the students that they work with every single day. What do you love about your teachers?
What I love is that they put all their hard work and their courage into helping us learn.
Thank you for teaching us very new things that we would have to use in 4th grade and 5th grade and through all the grades that we might learn.
I would thank Miss Peterson for always not giving up on me, for telling me to do my hardest when I'm struggling with something.
What joy, love, and resilience means to me at KIPP is just being present for our students, giving them what they need each day. The love, the hugs, the smiles, pushing them, challenging them, holding them to expectations that maybe nobody else might be giving them, and letting them know that whatever it is that they desire to be in this world, that they can do that. And so really for me, the one word that stands out even more is just giving them hope that they can do it.
When I think about teaching with love, what that means is like having high expectations of excellence for our students, knowing that they can and will meet those expectations, and then supporting them in whatever way it takes and to meet them where they're at to push them to the next level.
I think love is really, really important in this work. And I think that love is choosing to see the best in others, even when you are confused or frustrated by that person, really assuming the best in everyone. And I think it comes out in so many different moments throughout the day, throughout the year. You can see it in a parent calling to check in about an issue that happened with their student. You can see it everywhere around. You can see it when the students eagerly ask to still come to school when there's a snow day. There's love everywhere within our schools. And I think it's a really, really important part of our work.
I believe that it starts with the staff members, the adults in the building, the adult culture. And this is probably the first school I've been into where I feel like the adult culture is so loving, accepting, and, comforting and there for each other. I love every single last one of my coworkers, the admin support team. Like, everyone listens to each other's ideas. There's no one cutting each other down. Everyone speaks to each other. Everyone is very loving towards each other. And we should reciprocate that same love to our kids. And I just feel like they see the love that we have for each other. And that's a way that they can grow and show their peers the same love and respect that they see us showing.
I would say that even though we're struggling through this quarantine and corona, don't give up on your passion and keep doing what you're best at. When I was little, I always looked up to all my teachers, and that's what I want to be when I grow up. She shows passion to me and inspires me to be just like her.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us so far in our program. We're going to take a quick break before we move on to the next part. And this is an opportunity for you to get your drink ready. So if you haven't yet, break open that KIPPtastic Party in a Box, take out the glass, take out the sparkling water, pour it over some ice, and get ready, because the next time we come back, we're going to be doing a little toast. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you again for being part of our very first virtual KIPPtastic. My name is Bonnie Spear-McGrath, and I have the pleasure of introducing tonight's keynote speaker. But first, I want to tell you how KIPP became part of my life and then lead us in a toast. I've been involved with KIPP for the past 10 years in many capacities, including a board member and a co-creator of the original KIPPtastic. I first learned about KIPP in the movie Waiting for Superman, which was my wake-up call to the education disparities in our country. And once I learned those disparities existed close to home, I fiercely lent my heart, soul, and mind to KIPP in North Minneapolis. I have since had the privilege of seeing hundreds of students be impacted by KIPP, and I'm so happy that they are now designated a Change the Odds school, one of the highest performing schools in our state. So these are very, very trying times, and yet we have much to look forward to. Please join me in a toast to KIPP, to our resilient students, to our resourceful teachers, to our hardworking parents, and to each of you who cares enough about other people's children to show up tonight in the midst of a global crisis. Here's to brighter days, hope, and growth for KIPP so that we may change the odds for more students in the future. To KIPP. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker tonight, Doug Baker. Many of you know Doug as the CEO of Ecolab, but you may not know he's a hometown boy. He graduated from high school at West High School, which used to be located at Hennepin and 28th. And part of the reason Doug is so passionate about education is he was highly influenced by two of his teachers. Jim Baxter, who was a science teacher and hockey coach, and Charlotte Westby, who was a tough English teacher who did not let anybody slide by, not even the amazing athletes. Doug and Julie raised their 3 children in Edina. Both are very visible and very generous in our community, particularly in the areas of education. So without further ado, I introduce you to one of our longtime KIPP supporters and one of the community leaders I most admire, Doug Baker.
Thank you, Bonnie. I'm grateful for the kind words, and I'm also grateful for everyone joining us in these unique times in this unique way. So at Ecolab, we have now been in the midst of a COVID environment for months. We serve customers in 172 countries around the world, including China. So this isn't a new situation for us, but I would say it remains quite fluid and quite unpredictable. But we're working very hard to make sure that we do our part. We're taking care of our team. We've made sure the company's in good shape. And most importantly, we're taking care of our customers, because our customers provide essential services like electricity, like healthcare, like pharmaceuticals, like food, like beverages. So all these things we know are vital, so we've got to do our part. And I would tell you, our team's stepping up in many, many unique ways during this very unique time. It's a theme that I want to come back to here in a minute. So when you get into these periods of uncertainty, often teams and people freeze. Because when there are a number of unknowns, people start thinking everything is unknown. And that's really not the case. So what we try to do is isolate and start saying, look, we're going to manage in the near term with a long term in mind. There are things that we need to do now because of special circumstances, but we're going to think about how do we do them in ways that not only solves the problem today, but also positions us in a way that's going to help us long term, help us help customers. So we know we're not in control of the situation. And we also know with all these unknowns that teams get immobilized. But in the midst of this uncertainty, there's plenty that we do know. Ultimately, this crisis will pass. Society, we know, will be reshaped by this crisis. We just don't know exactly how. But with that said, there are so many important core principles that we know will endure. People's desire for opportunity and justice aren't going to change. People's desire for respect and fairness aren't going to change. Nor, frankly, will the importance of education change. It's the underpinning of society, particularly this society. If our goal as a society is to enable people to realize their full potential in the way that they imagine, then education is the most important fuel for that. And that's not going to change after COVID is a historical reference. So we need to make sure that we continue to manage today like there's a tomorrow, i.e., not take our eye off the ball of foundational efforts that we know are going to be important no matter what. And this is an important issue. So recently, the Federal Bank of Minneapolis wrote a paper, again highlighting facts that we know to be true, specifically that this state has the worst disparities between people of color and non-color in terms of education outcomes. It's a tragedy. It's not a new tragedy, though. It's been going on for way too long. And so, like all crises, this is going to be a challenge. And this current crisis is only going to make this harder because we know it's not going to equally hit all parts of society. Economic challenges never do. And so we've also got to recognize this as we go forward. But education's a foundation. It's a foundation to a successful economy, and it's a foundation to creating more fairness in our society. And I think it's important that we continue to push here. And in fact, recently, we had two of our very important members of this community step up in an incredible way. Supreme Court Justice Alan Page and Neil Kashkari, president of the Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank, got together and came together to propose that the way to attack this and the way to create a catalyst for change is to really look at Minnesota's Constitution. So they have come up with this idea of changing the Constitution. Right now, the Constitution talks about providing education as a duty. What they want to change it to is to make education a right of the people. And I think they're onto something. Fundamentally, that's how we have to think about this. Are we serving kids in a way that's making a difference? Are we getting the outcomes and creating the opportunity in the future for all of our children? And the answer today is a no. And without a catalyst for change, we're not going to see the type of change that we need to see. But while the important Constitution work is going to make a difference, it's not the only difference. And the Minnesota community will do all it can, the business community, to move this forward and see this happen, the Constitution change. There are other very important parts of the community who are rallying behind this, and we want to see this done. But we also have to recognize that's not all that has to happen. This is, I would say, raising children, teaching children. It's hand-to-hand combat. It's one-on-one. It takes an immense amount of time to do this and to do it successfully. And that's where work that KIPP provides is so vitally important. Today, without the Constitution change, and tomorrow with the Constitution change. It's not going to change the importance of the KIPPs of the world and what KIPP does, particularly in North Minneapolis. They're on the front line every day, and they need to continue to be enabled to push. So this is not a time for us to step back from our commitment to end these educational disparities. If anything, this is a time for us to step up. And KIPP is a great example of that. They haven't stepped back. They're stepping up in a number of ways. Why? Because the needs are shifting as a consequence of COVID. So now they're also having to provide meals for families that face food insecurity. They're providing childcare for healthcare workers and first responders. And they've had to figure out how to gather resources for families facing homelessness and other unique circumstances. They are there for the community. We know this is going to take a while. KIPP's also worked with 500 North Minneapolis students and their families to help them prepare for learning at home. This is a big change. It takes support. It's not automatic. It takes thoughtfulness. And KIPP's trying to help that type of leadership and provide that leadership as well. So KIPP is stepping up in amazing ways during this challenge, and they're doing it with an eye on the future, which I think is exactly what needs to happen. And we know the future, that education is going to be absolutely critical, and these disparities are absolutely despicable. So how are we going to get after this? Well, while KIPP's stepping up, we need to step up too, and KIPP needs us to. So I would ask you, let's find ways to continue to invest in the enduring values that are going to be so critical to this state long term, and invest in the community organizations that are making a difference. And KIPP is one of those organizations. They have Julie and my support, and we're asking you for your support. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Cam Winton. It is my honor to be the chair of the board of directors of KIPP Minnesota. I'm the closer tonight. It's my job to sum up everything you've heard and remind us how important it is that we all go big tonight and give to support this incredible institution and all the students who rely on us every day to prove what is possible in urban education. To do that, let me just share a quick story. I was up at the school one day, the North Star School, one of our 2 campuses, and I observed this wonderful classroom filled with students who were sitting up straight and tracking the teacher and each other with their eyes and making insightful points and weaving together the curriculum with their own experiences. It was just a wonder to behold. And then over at the margin of the scene was this girl, the same age as my daughter. And she was very late for school. It was about 9:15 in the morning, and she was just arriving. And she said to one of the adults, "I'm hungry." She had not had breakfast. And that situation reminded me of the challenges that so many of the KIPP students face. Structural, institutional challenges, daily challenges in their families' lives. And we don't need to recount the litany of it again, but those challenges that our students face are real. And so then the question becomes, which are bigger? The challenges that the KIPP students face or the champions that the KIPP students have? I know the answer is that their champions are bigger than their challenges. I know because I've seen it with my own eyes in the years that it's been my honor to serve on the KIPP board and have a front row seat to the work that the incredible teachers and staff members and students and community members do every day to prove what's possible. Just as a quick example with that girl I described, a teacher, an adult there, grabbed a sack breakfast for her. We have sack lunches and we also have sack breakfasts because that's not the first time and it won't be the last time that situation occurred. And very quietly, without a lot of fuss, they gave her the breakfast she needed. They ushered her to her seat in the classroom, and she jumped right into the flow of that classroom, having her breakfast and getting on with learning. It's just one quick example of the way that the champions remove or mitigate the challenges that our students face. All of it costs money between the buildings and the buses and the teachers and the longer day and the longer year and the intensive counseling K through 12 and into college and career and beyond. Certainly we receive money from the state and we're grateful for it. But those extra services cost extra funds, and that's where we as champions have to step up to demonstrate for that little girl and the hundreds of KIPPsters just like her that we, the champions, are bigger than their challenges and we can prove what's possible. Thank you so much for your support for KIPP Minnesota, especially in these challenging times. Yes, that is why I've grown this stellar beard. And I count on all of you to join me in supporting KIPP Minnesota so that today and for time to come, the champions are bigger than the challenges. Thank you.